Okay, so it's the IGR podcast. What's up? We back. Here with Nujhat, Ahmed. How are you?
Hi, I'm up. Hold on. I just got so confused. You started the whole thing over again?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna post both videos. I don't know. But hey,
Okay.
so
Okay, I'm ready. Now I'm mentally prepared because I was not expecting that.
so back how has COVID impacted you?
um, COVID has impacted me in every way possible. We were talking off camera, and I told you that I that weekend that everything went down in March when things got really bad. I was literally supposed to go to Europe. That was my spring break week. Job wise too, I work in a nursing home, so that's been tough. It's been months of trying to do my job in a different way when I wasn't even able to. Now I am, things are getting better, but I wasn't even able to go close to them or go into their rooms or do anything with them. So it was hard for a long time. And then, also there's the anxiety of it all. It's um I had a lot of family members who were impacted, not horribly, but impacted still. And, that's like, that makes you anxious. It was scary for a little bit.
So have you been like
Um,
so like even just like in general, have you been like mentally like with this, with just being young, being in school, like how are you handling that?
um, I think I'm finally at a point where I'm letting go of a lot of the past. I have not had since, high school, even through high school, since high school, a lot has happened. I've moved back and forth. I've switched schools. I've switched a major. I feel I can proudly say that I am not the person who I was back in 2017 or, on that first year of college at all. I'm so much more better equipped and prepared to chase after what I want to do now, but it's still hard because it's mentally draining to know that, okay, yeah, I'm behind. I'm like a year behind. I'll probably graduate a year late, which is nothing because I know it's not a big deal. People graduate, it doesn't matter when you graduate.
No.
But I have those, like anxieties that pop up just because of, family pressure, society pressure, just wanting to keep up with my friends and celebrate with them. I think when I see everyone graduate, it is going to be emotionally tough on me, but I have to know that it's for the best. Everything happens for the best. So that's where I'm at right now. I am actually doing what I want to do, and it feels good.
Thank God. I'm happy for
I
you.
know. Thank God,
I'm
right?
happy for you.
Thank
No,
God.
no. I want
Thank God
to
it's been.
I want to get into that a little bit. What sort of like cultural pressures like do you feel? Are there any? Because you're Bengali, correct?
Yeah, I am. I was born in Bangladesh, but then we moved here when I was 7, so I'm Bangladeshi American.
Hmm.
So I have two parts of me because I was raised here, but I was born somewhere else. So I carry a lot more of my culture than, for example, my brother, who was a lot younger when we moved here. So those societal pressures is like, I feel like weighed heavier on me. Maybe it was my fault. I just kind of let it get to me more. Plus, I'm a female. There's a difference in my culture too with male and some female. So it was a completely different experience, and it definitely took a toll on me because I don't think I would have gone into nursing my first year if I didn't feel like I needed to please people.
I gotta make
And
it. I gotta do it. Yeah.
yeah, I gotta meet them halfway. I gotta give them something. I was so miserable. It
Fuck
was
that
the
shit.
worst year of my life. It was the worst year of my life. Absolutely. Like, it was the worst decision I could have made to, like, do something that I didn't want to do. And I've always known that I wanted to go into therapy and I wanted to go into mental health and, bettering people, bettering ourselves. But I just let all those cultural, like, societal things get to me. Like there's a whole saying like back home that like people who like psychiatrists, they're pago doctors. That means they're crazy doctors.
Oh,
So you can see why when you tell somebody, oh, I want to work with this and this type of people, they're like,
why you want to be with
why?
crazy people? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, why would you want to be a doctor or a professional for that when you can do something like fix somebody's leg or, like be a surgeon?
Heal
Like,
lives. Like,
yeah, like
well, you
actually
actually
do
are.
something.
I mean, you actually are healing lives, just in a different way. You know.
Well, of course, of course. I think we have neglected, especially in the medical field. I feel like mental health and the well-being of the brain and our neurology has been like neglected for long enough. It's so important what I'm going into and what mental health professionals do. It's just so crucial to maybe fixing like the mess of a society that we have
Yeah.
now. If you look at a lot of the problems that we're having right now, a lot of it is being solved through healing and talking about it, understanding the root of it. Where does that all come from? Psychology, from
Yeah.
all like philosophy. It comes from all of those things.
I
It's
think. I
so
mean, I think that when you have people like yourself and like other, you know, trained psychologists and professionals, they have to really sit down and track. All right, what's the pathology, right?
right.
Why does this person do the things that they do? Why do they think these thoughts? All this type of stuff. So that's a lot of work when you're talking about, I mean, whether someone's 20 or they're 50 or, maybe they're 70 and they're trying to really reconcile with themselves, with other people, to come to like, who am I? Like, that's a lot of work to be done. And I think that we stopped investing in that. Like, as a country,
Right.
as a society, we stopped investing in that. So what are some ways that you think we can sort of reinvest or sort of like change that back around?
I think it's already beginning to happen, and that's why I see the growth in the our generation today, or even in starting from the millennials down on. I feel like is when it starts to get better. Um, Research is crucial, but in this type of situation where you're thinking about like the subconscious and things you can't really see or physically, sometimes you can see them, a physical representation of what is going on with someone, but most of the time you can't. So research is so hard, and especially I see so many complaints in the community about medications.
Mm.
Medications are not doing enough. We are not getting the benefit that we should be getting from these medications. And I feel like that's because a lot of it has been about just kind of diminishing the symptoms. Um, and that's why, I think that roots from like back in the day when they used to do lobotomies and all those kind of like crazy things where they're treating people like criminals and like just doing horrible, unethical things to people and treating
So,
them insane. Like that, I think it roots from that. So you moving forward, obviously, research has to be based on like behavior and I don't know, it just has to see the people better, definitely, because it, I I have gone through drugs myself. When it comes to my mental health,
yeah.
I am diagnosed bipolar. So in the beginning, when I was misdiagnosed, that means that I also got the wrong drug, and that could be detrimental. So
Yeah.
and there's blurred lines in the field, so it's
Because it's a
hard for
because
me
it's a
to say
spectrum.
how do we move. Yeah, it is a spectrum, and the way I knew that my psychiatrist was right for me was like one of the first things he explained to me. For years I went to psychiatrists and no one could tell me what exactly was going on with me. What was my diagnosis? And they could not explain what exactly bipolar depression or bipolar disorder was. And the first thing the psychiatrist that I have now explained to me was that bipolarity is a spectrum, as is anything. So
Mm.
that means it all lives within us. So in order to, fix it, I feel like you have to get to the root. You have to get to, if it's within us, if it's innate, how do we prevent it from getting to a point where these people need like gap fillers and things like that, like, and then there's a lot of like genetics and environmental things that come into play, but it just has to start from understanding. We don't know enough, we don't know anything. Everything is so theoretical. If you
Yeah.
look, my everything I study, we have so many theories. It's so theoretical that it's ever changing. And with society too, your environment plays such a huge role. I know psychology is going to change so much going forward because we have to
Yeah.
account for the modern changes.
Social
It
media,
has
technology, I mean, all that.
it plays a huge role in how we're affected mentally, especially our children. So research has to adapt to that as well. You have to take those things into consideration. I think right now things are very old fashioned,
Yeah.
um, and it needs to move forward. Um, but we're at a start because acceptance is where you start. And I think we're at acceptance. We're to the point where there's so many professionals out there, young professionals in the field who are advocating for mental health, not only to the world, but to their communities. And that's important that we do our parts. And that's a big reason why I want to do what I want to do too, because I know the lack thereof in my community.
Yeah. So how do we address
So,
that, in schools? Like, because as adults, we may be more mature to be able to say, hey, listen, I have this, just to let you know, especially if we're like in relationships, it's very important. But how do you start
mhm.
that acceptance aspect of it from schools to where, if there's a kid with, something, or he's acting out, like sort of coming together as a classroom or just whatever and addressing that? Do you think there's any like bounds or limitations or?
I don't know. It's difficult. Teachers are angels on earth. They are God sends. I love and appreciate teachers so much.
Hmm.
But I do think that they are undertrained and under paid at the moment
Yeah.
to do what they, to the best of their ability can do for a young child. It's hard. It's hard to navigate children because what do you do when a child is showing signs of aggression at a very young age? That's hard.
Yeah.
Like those things, navigating those things, teachers play such a huge role in that. And I think we need to give more to our teachers, not only educate them more, but give them the support financially, with supplies, with training, with everything. They just need support because they're already doing the hardest part of it all, like guiding our children. Like that's hard. That's a lot to undertake. So as I just think training is huge,
Yeah.
but budget, money is the issue to it all. So we have to
I think about
advocate
it like this.
for.
I think about it like this. If we give like entertainment stars so much money, of course that's,
Right,
very different thing,
right.
But it's like
Mhm.
these are the people who are raising our children. Like these are the people who are, firefighters, doctors, these people are saving people.
Mhm.
They need more
Are
money.
essential workers.
Essential worker, yeah. I
Are
mean, essential
essential
worker.
workers, people we cannot live without. We were going crazy thanking our essential workers this term. I think it's a huge wake up call. Like, these people deserve so much better. How are you going to take from the hand that is starving?
Yeah.
Like, And they, if they are the ones who are taking care of our society with their, you know, hands, you know, building our society day to day, they're keeping it on track. If
Yeah.
you are leaving these people impoverished and struggling, obviously our society is going to struggle. Like, it's just full circle.
Yeah.
It makes sense, you know? It just, and and you have to start speaking out about raising budgets. And I'm not too familiar with money and finances when it comes to this type of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but definitely a start would be to raise the budget for, you know, funding our teachers, giving them the support they need. Because I know they're doing the best they can already. Because then, like in schools, I don't know, we get like what, one counselor to hundreds of kids.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And that's if you're living in a like the suburbs.
Yeah.
Think about in the city, in the freaking in Queens,
Yeah.
that's one counselor to the whole school.
Cool. That's insane.
Nothing. Those kids are getting nothing. They're getting no type of support. It's just a cycle, and that's where it starts.
Well, I think like especially now, like with this, I mean, I hate to say perfect cocktail, but you know, lack of better term or expression, but we have all these different things happening, you know, the BLM, you know, all that type of stuff.
Right.
COVID, we've got the economy as a result of COVID, all this type of stuff.
Me Too movement, so many things. Pay up. I can name
Exactly.
100
Like you
million.
could, like they have them all over. I think we're in a perfect cocktail of stuff to where people are waking up to a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
right? And they see a lot of the issues with a lot of this type of stuff is that, you know, when you respond to like, you know, the issues with homeless people or someone who's kind of like acting out of character, you need to have a trained medical professional on your staff for the police department or wherever, you know, to respond to those type of calls. Because a lot of those type of calls, they don't need force and brutality. And, you know, same thing with you're saying the argument with the
Right.
essential workers. They're not trained. They're not like they
Nope.
talk about this whole defund the police thing, and you know I don't. When they say that, I take it as we need to allocate the money differently. I don't think we're gonna improve by
Yeah.
funding them like that. We
No.
need them, right? We just need
The
to
money needs
allocate the
to be,
money.
yeah.
You know, less riot shields and you know more diversity training, or you know hiring people who are from your town. This structural thing, I think, really needs to change.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And I agree with the police. Like, mental health professionals should be involved 110%. For example, in the military, they have different branches for, they're all, you know, soldiers or Marines or whatever, but they have different lines of work. And we need that in the police department. We need cops who are medically trained. We need cops who are specifically mental health trained. So
Exactly.
these people are not sent out to situations unarmed and unprepared. You
Yeah.
know, like, if
Well,
you,
they are armed because they be killing people.
right.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah, they're definitely, oh well, maybe I should reword it as stop
unarmed.
sending people there only armed.
Armed, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Only armed. That's the only thing they've got.
Yeah,
You
really.
know, like, it's crazy to me that I was seeing like how long it takes to become a cop in the States or whatever. I think it's like 8 months max.
Yeah, I mean, some people require degrees. Others just a high school diploma, especially when you move out west. But
That should not be the case.
it's
That
crazy.
should not be the case.
It's
That's
crazy. You take a
insane.
21-year-old,
This
not even,
person,
you take an 18-year-old dude, female,
no
whatever.
qualifications. What qualifications do they have? What understanding of the world do they have? What level of education and intelligence? And what have they proved to become? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then you have people asking for an undergrad degree to go work at a entry level job at some retail store selling freaking whatever.
It doesn't make sense. I was looking at jobs the other day, and it's like experience 1 year, must have a bachelor. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what are we doing right now?
Yeah, like, everything is upside down, but people are waking up. And you know what? I have so much faith in the youth. I have so much faith. Not, I don't know about younger, but you know, the people who are
Because they're
creating their
kind of
lives
fucking
for
it
the
up right now. Like, I don't know.
I don't know about them yet. I gotta watch them still because I have a feeling I'm gonna be sitting with them, a lot of them in therapy in a couple years.
But I feel like right now, like 18 through like 27, 25,
Right.
like they're really moving
The
things.
future. Right. We
Yeah.
are the future. Like that is the future. Like temporary, you know, like the recent future.
Yeah.
So I think I have so much faith in that. It amazes me to see how many professionals exist in our communities nowadays, especially in minority communities. In over the past year, I've joined a lot of brown girl groups.
Ooh, what's that?
Oh, like just support groups, I guess. For anything curry girl related.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Oh,
a
okay.
way to connect. Yeah, it's just a way
So
to
it's not
connect with
black
people.
girls, it's brown girls.
Yeah, I guess we're brown girls. That's what we call ourselves, at least.
That's the nomenclature, brown girls. Let me write that down. I don't want to call you the.
um yeah, and so as like in the last few weeks that, like, you know, things have been going on, there have been so many professionals coming out and like they're ready to make a change, they're ready to like go. There is no, I feel like this time why it feels so different to people is because I think people are actually moving. You know, the movement is a little slowing down now. A lot of things are getting
Well, I would
taken
say
out.
this. I don't know if it's slowing down or the media is just not covering it.
Regardless of the media, like I think people are taking responsibility this time personally and, you
Right.
know, trying to keep up with it. But then, you know, things get lost in the blur of trends
Yeah.
and social media and all
Taking
of that.
Instagram pics. I saw one girl. Not gonna say her name. She's from Danbury, but my
Oh,
friend sent it to me, and she posted a picture of her protesting somewhere, and it was an ass pic, and I was like, okay, give the people what they want. Of course, probably want to see your butt. Cool, it's Instagram, whatever. But you're protesting.
appropriateness. Appropriateness.
You're
Come, that's
protesting, and it's your
uh,
what?
hey, you know, I am all for
Sis,
her doing
read the
whatever she
room.
wants, but
Read the
we gotta
room.
grow up. We gotta grow up this time. For the serious
Yeah.
things, we gotta put the cheeks away for a little bit. You know, like it's
Fuck.
there's no chill, but you know, I mean, I don't know. It's just it's amazing to see how together the community and like young people have come to really try to understand each other's problems. I think we would be a lot nicer to each other if we understood each other a lot better.
Yeah.
um so it's a start, and like I was saying, like I just all of those like therapy techniques and, you know, going to the root of the problem, really going to somebody with empathy and trying to understand them, all of that is coming out now, and it's a good thing.
No.
Things are crazy right now, but if they were not crazy, I don't think there's any way of change
We'd
happening.
move forward. And I think what you said, like that empathy aspect, like I read something about a year ago and it said that the difference between sympathy and empathy is if there's someone in a well, sympathy is looking down and saying, oh man, that sucks.
Right.
Empathy is crawling down into the hole and saying, hey, listen, I'm here with you. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. So I think when people begin to understand that, and that's what true empathy is, it's not always having
Right.
the answer, right? It's not
Right.
always trying to fix, which I feel like a lot of people do, especially into relationships, whether it's romantic or platonic, whatever. They don't just say, hey, listen, I'm here with you. I understand you. I feel you. And I feel like that's what we're seeing now is a lot of people saying, of course, with the Black Lives Matter movement and a lot
Yeah,
of other
let me
things.
hear you. That's what it
Exactly.
is. I want to hear you. It's amazing. And one beautiful thing that I saw people doing, a lot of people who have platforms, passing on those platforms to people who are better equipped to talk on this
Mm,
topic. That is incredible. That is so smart. You know, that's how we should be supporting each other. That's how, like, we should apply that to anything. And I think we're working our way towards that. And it's hopeful. It's hopeful, but it's also scary because um also, besides, you know, all of the good things and all of the, you know, all of the bad things and everything coming to light, I think we're also realizing, like, sometimes I feel like we have so much control, but we're realizing how little control we
You
have.
don't got control of shit. Like we're like from just like we like if you were in front of a bear will fuck you up.
Yep.
Like let's be real. I think we sort of have we live in these little like societies. There's paved roads. There's gates. There's laws. Okay, if you boil this thing down, like we have really no control, but we sort of trick ourselves into saying, okay, well, I know I have this job, I know I get this money, you know what I mean? And we
We're
start getting these
tricked.
funnels. We're tricked.
We are tricked because, you no person comes into this world wanting this life, wanting these shapes and like little boxes to fit in. That is not how we are, like, made at all. But that's the system.
Yeah.
How do we fix the freaking system? Break the system down. Like, that shit is broke. It's so broken. It's not working. It's not working. It's not going to work for me. It's not working for any of us. So, but how do you get to that? When you feel like you have no control?
Mm.
I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. And that's where this whole situation the last couple months, I feel like that part of all of it has weighed heavy on me, because it's just who I am naturally, to want to heal people or heal a situation or just want the best for people, you know? Like, I just want everybody to be happy and, like, whatever. But it just, that has been crazy on my mental health because it just feels so awful. I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I'm doing too much, or no, it's just a lot of pressure. I feel like I have to, like, turn on, like, just not touch social media for a day, every, like, other day.
We've got to like sort of take a step back, and I feel like now that all right, it's on a national stage, and we've been through this, and we've seen everything, and everyone knows now. Everyone knows. We sort of have to dial it back in terms of holding people accountable, like on everyday issues.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I should say living every day. You know, when you're interacting with someone, hold them accountable there. Not in an aggressive way, but if they step out of line, you
Right.
say, listen, that's not cool. Just like this is how we really change, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and not perpetuate so much of this negativity that has plagued us for so long. Like,
I know.
yeah.
Definitely time to change how we talk to people, change how we talk about other people's problems, because, you know, our problems are one as a society at the end of the day. It's just, we're just so interconnected.
Mm.
It's, you know, if one side is losing, at the end of the day we're all losing. It's so hard to see when, you know, you're living your life or whatever, but clearly there's no balance right now, and that's why shit is the way it is. It's just, there's no balance. There has been no improvement according to the time. You
Yeah.
have to evolve with the time. People have evolved. The country needs to evolve with the people.
No,
It's honestly time.
straight up. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, and I always go back to like social media. So I definitely want to get your perspective on this. How do you think social media has sort of shifted or changed or really affected the mental health of people, young people? Let me get more specific.
Yeah.
How has social media affected the mental health of young women?
Mm. Oh my God. Social media, I feel like, literally perpetuates every type of fear and, like, insecurity that a woman could possibly have. We are already so vulnerable to ourselves, to everyone else, to society, to work, to life, to everything. It's just not helpful. And I know it's, you know, social media is trying to be progressive, but there's those little details that fall through the cracks that still make it. That's
Like what?
still like advertisements. We can't change how people advertise. Obviously, people are advocating for it, but how much can brands listen to you? Like I'm gonna say it right now. I hate Fashion Nova.
Really?
I hate that I do not buy from them. I know my friends do, which is fine. That's to
Thought
their
they've
own.
been
But to
pretty
me, their
progressive.
ethics, huh?
I thought they've been pretty progressive in terms of like female body types and stuff. Okay.
It's very trendy. It's very like when they need to. You know, they post no like all of their girls on their page look the same. It's just looks peculiar. Like their bodies are not normal. Nobody's shaped like that. The
Yeah.
girl,
I'm
girl
gonna look it
you
up.
like, yeah, look it up. And if you scroll through their page, tell me how many dark skinned girls you see. Tell me how many natural girls you see. Tell me how many different types of bodies you see. Tell me how many
Ah, I got it.
ethnicities you see.
Yeah.
Those types of brands are fetishizing the mixed race. Those types of brands play so much into feeding us specific types of body type, specific trends of clothing. And, you know, like, I feel like I have no choice in what I want to look like or wear or do anymore because everything is literally fed to me.
Yeah.
You know, like, even when I'm going
I
shopping or anything,
I
I have to
blame the
consume through it.
Kardashians. I blame the Kardashians. No, I'm gonna be real. I have a whole theory about this. Not gonna say it all, but like literally, when you look at how
I
they
have a theory about it too.
go ahead, I want to hear yours.
I have a theory about it. I don't like them either. I don't watch them. I don't support them. I will never buy from them. I
Damn.
don't fuck with them. Don't fuck with them because I agree with you 110%. They literally create these trends and they feed it to everyone. Like certain things that they do, like with the fit tea and the hunger pills and like just so many things that they do are so weird, but people accept it
I feel
because
like they
everybody
don't
just
even do.
wants to be them.
Yeah,
They don't do it.
I
Of
feel like
course they
they
don't, but
don't.
they're endorsing it.
Mm, which is even worse.
Which is even worse because it's that you didn't freaking drink no tea. Are you freaking kidding me?
You got
You
that
drank
sucked
a
out of
tea.
you. You know what I mean? Went to the gym for a little bit, hired a trainer. Like, come on.
Like, yeah, really though. And yeah, I don't have a good relationship with social media because I feel like I have to constantly pull back from it. It's like a unhealthy relationship. You
Mhm.
know, when I see that I haven't had Snapchat for like a year, Snapchat is creepy to me. I have a theory about Snapchat. I feel like Snapchat is like watching us. It's weird. I don't like
Really?
Snapchat.
What do you
Streaks, that
mean?
whole thing, memories, videos, all of those things creep me out. It makes me feel like I'm being watched and listened to. And
How?
I think it takes and not only those things, that's like conspiracy. I feel like Snapchat is like embedded with like I've heard crazy conspiracy theories about them, like keeping all your information, your pictures, you know, all of that stuff. Not only that, but I find it really hard to trust people on Snapchat. So I feel like Snapchat made me like get trust issues, like with locations and like watching
Oh,
people's private stories and non-private stories and rooms. And it's just, there's so much manipulation going on. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not about it. It's weird to me.
oh wow.
It's weird to me. Yeah, it's been a year. I downloaded it the other day and I was like, nope, deleted it.
Wow.
Snapchat makes me feel like I am living in my phone. It
It
completely
does
disconnects me.
it does create this sphere of like replicating like social environments. So like the most recent for us would probably be like
Yeah.
college or high school, right? And you like for me, I was talking to my friend Terrence about this. Like in high school, I knew all right, every day from 8 o'clock to 2 p.m., everyone I talk to on a daily basis socially, they're in this building. Don't care where they're at,
Mhm.
but they're in this building. And Snapchat
Mhm.
sort of replicates that in terms of where are my friends? Look at my map. Okay, I
They're
can
all
find where you
there.
are. If I need to share something, like, oh, this is funny, I just send it to you. I need to chat, I can make groups, like all this sort of stuff. And then you're seeing
Yeah.
it and seeing it and seeing it and seeing it. So you feel like you're in this realm of everything that's happening where
It
before going
feels
out of just
good.
party. Yeah,
Yeah, it
absolutely.
feels good. It feels good. But it is the wrong type of satisfaction. It's teaching you short-term satisfaction. It's training you, literally training you to rely on like people like texting you random pages, like pictures of their face or the wall, or to know that, oh, this person still fucks with me. I can tell
Where's
you
my fucking
time.
streak? Don't you
Yeah,
fucking
like
like my
come on,
streak?
like oh my god, like I have to show, like don't touch the food yet. I have to show everybody, like
Hold up. Oh my
it's
god.
horrible. It's I hate that feeling, and I'm not gonna sit here and sit on my high horse and say, oh, it's not. I don't feel like it's a good feeling too. I know it's a good feeling, but I knew it was unhealthy for me. I had to get away from it. It was just too freaking much. It's just so yeah, Snapchat creeps me out, and you don't want me to even get into like Snapchat and the combination of girls and young girls nowadays on Snapchat, and like so much coming out with like
Let's get into it.
selling the dangers
Selling
of like
ass?
selling toes, selling whatever they want
That
to
was a big
sell,
thing
shirt.
though. In school, that was a bit like I know quite a few girls who are like, fuck it, I'm gonna sell some toast to some creepy dudes. I'm gonna
I
sell
know.
like some smelly panties on some Orange is the New Black shit. Like,
Oh my god, it's all fun and games, and I'm all for that. Get your bag, whatever. What, girl? I don't give a fuck. But it's until it's the younger generation is seeing it and learning it. There's no boundaries.
and it just goes lower and lower.
And it just, yup, it's trickling down. We have a responsibility to do better. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
Normal children are not supposed to be thinking about this stuff at
It's
this
not like
age.
you're not supposed to have filters where you could put like how depressed do I look, scale of 1 to 10, or like who hates me, or like is this like these are 10-year-olds
That
I've seen.
it's detrimental to their mental health. It's going to leave them fucked up forever. And when I'm going to go back to your question, how does social media impact girls, especially if I think about young girls? I can't even imagine like hearing from people who you idolize, because not only are kids nowadays not as, you know, social and active and present, they're on their phones, they're on YouTube, they're on social media, whatever. They see all these people, and they might be preaching to you, oh, love yourself, blah blah blah, but you can't deny the fact kids are smart. You can't deny the fact that this person looks a certain way, and all the rest of them look a certain way, and all the rest of them drive certain cars, wear certain clothes,
It's
say the same
subconsciously putting that
repeated
in you.
thing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how they're growing up feeling like they have all of these expectations to live up to. Yeah, I'm supposed to be a boss ass woman, but I'm also supposed to do this and that. And you know, like that's too much. It's too much pressure.
Relax. I
There
think
has to be a limit.
yeah, you have to relax. And the reason I asked that question is because when I got older and I became like about, a couple of years ago. Well, I've always been in my little sister's life, right? So I have a little sister and she's
Mhm.
around that age. And I've always been there, but I was in high school, she was in middle school, okay. But as you grow up, and you begin to be more involved in her life, I sort of fear for that and saying like, okay, like I'm a man, I'm a young man. How do I sort of protect my little sister, but let her know what's okay, what's not okay? And sometimes I come to no answers because she doesn't do anything crazy, but what if she does? And it's sort of like a
Right,
lot
right.
of pressure to say, hey, listen, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, hey, listen, man, you need to change a lot of stuff you're doing, because whether you don't know what she knows, especially when we're talking about like hometown, you don't know what she knows and stuff like that.
You
And
don't know what she knows, and you know what? We don't think people are watching, but they are watching. And we don't think we are showing our negative attributes, but we do show them. So I think, you know, the best way that we can protect them is to be like the best example possible, the best versions of ourselves, to educate them that there's more to that. There's more to life than that. There's more to life than 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds of a video of a random person you don't know. You can take away from all of that. But I think the best way to protect them is to build them up. because then if they're built up to that level and they have that confidence, that strength, that mental strength,
Hmm.
then all of those like advertisements and those little messages that call at your weak points,
Yeah.
those can't impact them anymore. That's the best we could do. That's the best we could do. At the end of the day, like, they have to learn their own way, and they're gonna go through a unique experience where they're the first ones to really see the impact of growing up from like so young. Because I remember when my brother was in middle school, they used to use computers and stuff, like it's just like all the time,
Yeah.
like not even just like here and there, like, oh, we're going to the lab tomorrow to use like our
No, in your
1990
face. Yeah.
Dell shit. But so that's the best thing you can do, is just build them up.
So, as we wrap up, I want to leave on this. What advice could you give to young girls, whether just in general, maybe brown, white, however? What advice can you give young girls moving forward to sort of navigate these new times that they're in, body image stuff? Just any advice for them?
Um, I think speaking to young girls, I'm always, in regards to them, I'm always speaking to myself as well, because I'm ever growing. And as women, we have so much pressure. I think we need to be easier, nicer, kinder to ourselves, really pay attention to our intuition. A woman's intuition is like magic. It's incredible. Why are you laughing? It's
I'm
like
not.
the
I know.
realest
No.
it's like the realest thing on this planet.
I'm only laughing because you're so right. And I think about times in
Right.
my life where I'm like, or like, someone has said something to me, or I've lied. I'm like, nah, how does she know that? Like, and
I
you just sort
know.
of stuck. Like, no, women know. They know.
I am so powerful. That's what I would tell little girls. Like, they are so powerful, and we're constantly beat up by media, by so much. And it's just, you have to know the power is in your hands. Boys are taught from a very young age that they have control, that they have power, whereas girls are not taught that as much. That's one thing I'm definitely teaching my nieces. I'll be teaching all my younger cousins that you are strong enough. Like, you can do it. You have this like ability within yourself that's so powerful to get. I would definitely recommend to get in tune with your feminine energy, to appreciate your masculine energy, to find a balance and truth in who you really want to be. It's so easy to get lost in what everyone else wants to do, but the more you think about everyone else, the further you get from your true self. And how can you know that you're listening to your true self? I think you have to do things that are good for you, that speak to you, that feel right, creating rituals, habits, um, creating strong boundaries, so that
Mm.
we're not overtaken by past generations of women who feel like they're stuck and they have no control over their lives. I think from a very young age we need to understand that we have that control. um and that is like the most incredible thing when you really get in tune with that. And I'm still working on it. It's very hard because it takes time to get to know yourself, but
Yeah.
it's so much fun because you get to try new things. You get to really ask yourself the weird and the hard questions and see where it takes you. I think we have to be unafraid to be ourselves. We're so afraid to be ourselves. You have to be unafraid to be yourself, and that's when you really let go, and that's when you can really be in tune with who you are. Nothing is going to feel right when you're not being yourself. It's just not. It's never going to work. Never going to work at all. But that's what I would give them. And it's a journey, and it's so much fun if you make it fun. You have to look at it that way. I think it's taken me a long time to look at it that way. and be like, this is going to be so much fun. I get to learn about myself.
Oh, oh, that was heavy. That was heavy.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for
Of
getting up
course.
here, talking to us. You said a lot of gems. Be unafraid to be yourself. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. I had such a good time. It was so nice catching up. We always have good conversations. I feel like we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah,
Just
no, really,
not,
really, just not up here.
yeah.
Awesome.
But thanks
Thank,
for having me.
thank you. I appreciate it so much. Guys, of course, always follow us, IGR Podcast. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music. We are everywhere. So be a part of the movement. Shout us out. Thank you, guys.